Hello, welcome to Jen Heart Be Awesome, the channel that gets you motivated and excited about mindset, manifesting, and creating a lifestyle that you absolutely love. I hope you don't judge me. And even if you judge me, that's okay, because my mindset is where it's at. So today's topic of the day is about identity and how you can use mindset skills in order to change your identity in order to create the life you love. So part of mindset in general is how you see yourself and how you experience the world. Now, a little background on me. I grew up with a certain pattern, as most people have. If you grow up in a family, you take on a lot of the characteristics of your family. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're the black sheep, somebody that does the complete opposite. In mindset and creating a life that you love through manifesting what you desire, part of this process of creating an identity, we did it naturally for many years. And sometimes we'd piece together our identity from people that we admired, or we maybe wanted something externally, like, ooh, I like the fact that she has a certain haircut, so we might go get somebody's haircut. Like Jennifer Aniston. When I grew up, Jennifer Aniston had this haircut on Friends. I guess the first few things, this shows my age, but everybody wanted the Rachel. I didn't, but a lot of people did. And it just shows how much somebody wanted to be like that character, or at least have her haircut and feel a certain way. With mindset, this is the greatest thing and tool in your toolbox to help you create the world and the reality and the feeling space internally, that you really desire. So I grew up in a certain pattern. My mom had mental health challenges. She also came from a lineage of alcoholics and such like that. She was not an alcoholic, but she came from that. I also grew up in a paradigm of a single parent home with my brother. So that's the pattern that I came in with. And as I grew older, I kind of pushed and pulled from each direction of those things. And it took me many, many years to realize how I thought could be changed. That took therapy and mindset training, and just working on shifting from a negative mindset, which I carried from about my early 20s, almost to my mid 30s. So a good 10 to 15 years of anxiety and depression. I had some of those things growing up, but I didn't identify with that person as somebody that had depression and anxiety. So that is probably why it didn't manifest in the same way as it did in my 20s and 30s. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about this is because identity and how we see ourselves, we talk about it, but we might not always understand why it's important to shift the way we see things in order to make changes in our lives. For a long time, I identified as somebody who was either codependent or depressed or anxious. I often said that I was not interesting. I thought a lot of thoughts in my head that were critical, that were destructive to my self-esteem, and not true, not ultimately true. Now, that didn't mean that I wasn't depressed by saying that, but it meant that I stayed perpetually in that identity for longer than I needed to. Besides biochemistry, I'm not taking away biochemistry or the fact that there are biochemical reasons why we have depression, anxiety, and other disorders. This is a very different topic for a different day. I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. So this is why I'm talking about identity, because this had helped me 1,001% to move out of a depressive state, a languished state, a state where I didn't have any power or autonomy over my thoughts, feelings, emotions, and taking power over my own life. Now, mind you, I've worked on this stuff for many years, but I hope to give you the jump start so you don't have to feel that you have to suffer for as long as I felt I did. For whatever reason, that's the path that I went to. And wherever you are in your journey, you're exactly where you need to be. And you have the power right now to change your mindset. So today's topic, sorry, I have some, I literally have a piece of hair in my eye. So it's hard for me not to touch my eye, even though we're not supposed to. Oh no. Anyway, back to the story. And Dad stopped getting distracted. How identity plays a role in mindset. Speaking of the person that I used to be, somebody who was very angry, was very dissatisfied about life, did not even predict positive things for myself. I didn't see things were possible. The reason why I started to shift my identity is because that old identity stopped working for me. For a long time, and this is not a bash on anybody who is living in that state of mind. It's just where I was at the time is that I got some payoff for being whiny. I got payoff, and payoff means I got a psychological or a external benefit from others by being that way until I didn't anymore. And that isn't to say all depression or anxiety is like that, but where I was at the time, I stopped receiving some benefit. And this is true for anything in any situation. You change when you stop getting benefits from something. People stop alcohol, if you're an alcoholic, and I don't know, love that term, but people stop alcohol when they stop getting benefits from it, and they start getting more consequences from it. Same with drugs, same with other things. It's not based on recreational use. I'm talking about people who have struggle with moving forward in their life. Similar to depression, anxiety, or any thought process that is not productive. I tried to be productive in that other state of being, that other identity. And then I realized I had to change my identity. And that identity had to become more confident, more strong, more resilient, and I was a strong person, but I didn't see myself as strong. I didn't see that I was resilient. I didn't even acknowledge how much I'd gone through and how much I've grown and how much those things had benefited me. Even the depression, anxiety had benefited me on many levels of making me a very deep and introspective person. It made me very conscientious about other people. So there were benefits besides the psychological benefit at the time. And then it stopped working. So I had to figure out a new way to feel better about myself. And that was not a way. Wallowing in my own identity as a depressed person. And you can, for you, in order to make this work for you, it doesn't have to be depression. I'm just using this as an example. Is that if you want to, say you're a cashier and you want to be a stockbroker, there are very different energies to those paradigms in terms of an identity shift. A lot of people are scared of changing their identity because they're afraid of the devil that they don't know. And devil is, quote unquote, just that fear that typically lingers when you don't know how to be someone that you've never been before. And that uncertainty tends to be scary for everybody on the freaking planet. And I may curse on this channel, so if you want to report me, please don't. This is a way that helps sustain me and hopefully will benefit you. But occasionally I'm going to curse. So if you don't like cursing, you might want to click off. But on another tangent. Anyway, so identity shifting. So if say you're a cashier and you want to be a stockbroker, the identity of a cashier is very different than an identity who is a successful stockbroker. Now you could be an unsuccessful stockbroker, but we're going to go with the best possible case scenarios here. Changing into this identity takes practice to know, sense, be what that's like. In order to step into any reality that you're unfamiliar with, whether it be falling in love, like deep, passionate love with somebody, or changing your weight, or changing a job, or becoming happier as an individual and having more positive thoughts. It's all the same work. The same work is seeing and acting as if you've already lived that. Now, mind you, when I had my first boyfriend, I had no idea what that was like, but I asked for the things that would make me feel like what it would feel like to have a boyfriend at the time. This is many years ago. And I didn't, and it took me a long time to be like, oh, this is what it might feel like to have a boyfriend. This is for anything, a job, love, your body, your bank account, getting in touch with feelings. And it may be counterintuitive if you have depression, but go with me here, or anxiety. You have to be able to tap into something that you're not used to. So if you're depressed, you may have to actually have fun. And this is challenging as much as my tripod is challenging me now. So this is challenging because, and I'm literally have my foot on it. This is challenging because you probably, if you're depressed for a long time, don't know what that feels like anymore. If you have ever felt it. And I hope that you've had glimpses of feeling happier or content or what have you. Part of the work that when you're shifting into a new identity is like, well, what would a person who is happier, who feels a lust for life, who is passionate about their job or passionate about their partner or passionate about changing their life, what does that feel like? What can I imagine? Use your imagination skills. This is what the brain is for. The brain is for doing stuff. Oh, that was a pause. That was funny. The brain is for a lot of things, but you can reprogram your brain and create the life you love because it's beyond possible. And I'm jumping around and I hope you can keep up with me because it's crazy in here. That's a joke. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You can create your reality, your external reality, to a degree, how you see the world. How you see the world I pictured. How you want to become. Who do you want to become? Who do you want to step into? And this is not becoming, say, Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston is her own person. We're just going to take things from the external and help build that feeling internally. To me, what I call a bridge of manifesting, a bridge of belief. Because sometimes in our energetic system, before I had a boyfriend, I didn't believe I could have a boyfriend, and never manifested a boyfriend. Now, some people don't have problems with manifesting certain things, such as a boyfriend or money or whatnot. So those are great tools in order to help bolster your identity. Because if you're good in one area, say money, then your identity is solid in that area. And you can expand on that identity of somebody who is affluent, who is abundant, who is always, whatever they touch turns to goals. Same with love. If I'm really great at making friends and being really connected to people, I know that because that's how I've embodied myself to be. I was often very shy as a child. I mean, and I'm somewhat of an introvert, although most people wouldn't agree. But I do recharge by being by myself. But I also get a very wonderful feeling in the world when I connect to people like you, or in the real world, Starbucks, or in my personal life. So the identity that I hold is that I easily make connections with people. I connect deeply with people. And that is something that a track, basically, of mindset that I've played for many, many years. For a long time, when I would talk to people, I felt very shy. I felt somewhat self-conscious. And people don't believe me, but this is true. What I used to feel like, and a different identity of who I was. Self-conscious. I didn't think I was interesting. And it took me many times to either write or recreate the story of me, the identity of me that said that I was interested. And sure enough, I'm pretty freaking interesting. Who'd have thunk it? I'd thunk it. That's the point. You get to create the reality that you choose by choosing new realities and new identities for yourself. I don't know if this is making sense. Please comment below. Please subscribe if you find this very interesting. Please share it with your friends. I'd love to share this around the world for people like you. And I'll have more topics on identity and manifesting and using mindset tools to create a life that you love. So today, I hope you put a comment below with a big heart that says you were here and you want to be a part of my tribe. Ugh, I hate the word tribe, but if you can come up with a different word, I'd be more than happy to have it. So post it down below. Let me give you some takeaway. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be more confident? Then start writing or believing, rewriting it every day. Every time you don't feel confident, scratch it and say, I am confident. Every time you feel unloved, say, I'm loved. I feel loved right now. I'm feeling more and more loved every day. I get love in so many numerous ways. If you feel sad or lonely, saying, I feel connected to certain people. If you can't believe that I'm connected to the world, because that takes a lot when you don't feel very connected. So do the baby step, because it's hard to jump from broke to millionaire, but it's very much doable. It's just your brain has to believe the bridge, that the bridge to get you there. And sometimes that takes practice. So the practice here is, who do you want to be? Identify that. If you want to be more confident, more resilient, more the real you, whoever that is, because you get to decide who it is. And if you want to be more loving and more know how to be in touch with your feelings, if you want to communicate better. Now, mind you, my communication isn't always top notch, especially in writing, because I have a few spelling mistakes, but compared to what it used to be, it's pretty dang good. So, and it'll get better as I rewrite the story about my ability to communicate. My ability to communicate with others got better after I decided, you know what? I can communicate. And my communication style with different people changes based on my belief and how I've created the identity of me. Anything else? I think that's it. I hope you have a great day. Peace. Don't forget, be awesome.